Hi everyone, this is Ayushmaan.
And this is Resham. Welcome to Goonj, our podcast by the TISS Guwahati students.
Our technically it's episode 10, but it's also the first episode for the both of us
Yeah,
because you know,
technically speaking, we are very newbies, so I don't know
yeah.
how this is gonna go. Hope you like your time along with us.
So with 1 hour in hand before our classes start,
Hmm.
Resham,
Yeah.
let's do a rapid fire here. What kind of picture does the word frontbencher or topper paint in your head?
Um, the pretty stereotypes, right? So, obviously, a one who sits with the books all the time, has good scores, and is the teacher's pet kind of thing. And he or she
Hmm.
has probably no life outside their academics. And yeah, this kind of picture is the thing that is generalized. And if you ask
Yeah.
me, I would say that it is. I don't believe that there is some kind of tag which I can relate to this, like a front bencher or something. I just don't see it that way. A person can be anything. So if somebody loves books, what's wrong with loving sports along with it or loving music along with it? A front bencher can be a cool guy too. So I don't really have
Like
a
me.
definite picture in my mind.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
So
yeah,
do
what's
you consider yourself a topper?
yeah, going by the statistics and everything, I was on the top of my class. So yeah, you can call me that, but I never, you know, never actually liked being that kind of because of how it turns out to be, how you get left out by people and categorized as somebody who does not like the so-called fun things. You get left out of so many
Hmm.
things, so it started becoming
Correct.
like this. Yeah, I was good at everything, so but I didn't like it.
Oh,
What about I mean, what about this thing that the marks affected your life?
well, I mean, as a like a younger person, I just think, what if I never did well in academics? Then they would never expect such things out of me.
Exactly, that thought just comes into your mind so many times, and you just wish you could just go back in time and do less, and it would be
And
all
just
okay.
mess up your paper, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But the worst part is, you cannot intentionally mess up your paper,
Yeah,
which is the worst.
you can actually just don't write anything. Just,
Yeah, no, I can't do that.
yeah, so
I cannot do that, Rish. But like, you tell me about yourself. Like, did marks affect you?
yeah, totally. I actually do relate with you in almost all the parts. And since I
Yeah.
was always, I had this thing inside me also, like I wanted to paint and I wanted to go for music. So uh, that was a thing. I couldn't balance with these things. I felt like I always missed out on one or the other because of the academics thing, and which
So
actually,
when push comes to shove, you always have to choose academics.
yeah, exactly. I just couldn't choose what I enjoy more. I just couldn't decide. I was confused within myself what actually I am. So uh,
Hmm.
I just felt like I'm just pushing so hard. Like, how does it matter even? And I'm not doing the things that actually makes me real productive. So at some
Yeah.
point of time I was having a kind of writer's block, a kind of painter's block, all sorts of kind of blocks that you can imagine. And I just, yeah, academically also there was a block. So yeah,
I see.
that was the thing.
Oh.
And I
Oh,
would,
and I have heard from like my most of my creative friends that artistic blocks they feel the worst.
it's like more like a depression. uh, I mean the literal sense of depression where you feel inside, you're just inside a very deep trench, and you just have no way to get out of it, and you just see nothing, just sand, mud, and everything around you, and you just have nothing, no
So you're
ideas,
just
it's
drowning.
zero. Yeah, it's a very, very
I
horrible
see.
place for me. So, and imagine somebody imagining things and not being able to just take those imagination out of their head and create something with it. It just makes you feel like you're gonna get stuffed with all sorts of things, and it's you just are an overstuffed toy. So that's like the feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're about to explode basically.
Explode, exactly, and that explosion comes in front, in, I don't know, in anger, in negative ways. It comes out punching on the walls, and it gets messy.
So, Resham, like with that in mind, would you say that the way people used to define nerds back in old when it was first coined, would you
Yeah.
say that applies to people today? Like the kind
I,
of the
I, I think
toppers or
I
the
think it
front end?
never applied. It never applied actually. I think the
Hmm.
I'm guessing that the term came out in the 80s time, and at that time
Hmm.
there was a trend of like the with the rock bands, the goths, the alternate form came up, and
Hmm. Hmm.
I think that was a time when the labeling of things started. So this
Yeah.
created a category, but I don't think, just like I said, I didn't believe in stereotypes. There were none. Still now, we don't have stereotypes. If we just
So
take a
you are
closer
saying there
look
is
at the
no clear
things,
way to define.
um, it, there's no definition actually, in my opinion, of somebody. You just keep on evolving. I mean, I am not the person I was 6 months ago, and this happens to me all the time. So
Hmm.
I couldn't define myself. How would others define me? So that's the thing. I
That's
don't believe in the concept that I can be tagged under or labeled as some kind of person, a category. How have you evolved? How do you see yourself when people do call you that? Do you a nerd? Or do you see yourself as a nerd or not?
I mean, in when they say that a nerd is basically a person who is interested in academics,
Yeah.
kind of, then I will say yes. But other than that, I don't really fit into the kind of the physical attributes that one would use to
Yeah.
define nerds and all that. And like, to be honest, alright, once people are out of school, they really start to work on themselves and everything. I mean,
The glow up, I think
most
that the
people of
glow up
like what
just starts after school. What do you call, like,
yeah, the grow up starts after school. That's what happened with me. That's what happens. That's what that is what is happening with most people of my nerd group, so to say, as well. They are also trying to they're going to work out. They are trying to branch out into other their other creative sides and everything. So I mean, it's just the system does not allow us to express ourselves because we have to be the, you know, golden children and we have to be the ones who maintain that image
yeah, not
and we
allowed
have
to
to stay
make
on
a
that
mistake
pedestal.
actually.
Yeah, we're not
Just
allowed to
not
make
allowed.
mistakes. And if I was accused of a mistake in class one, alright,
Okay.
uh, by one of the students. I did not cheat in one of my exams. Okay, I did not cheat. What happened
Okay.
was it was the exam for our second language. I had Hindi, and this other girl who was sitting beside me, she had Assamese. All right.
Okay.
So what happened was I completed my test. Okay, and then I kept it under my desk. And then she also completed her test, and she asked me, okay, "Oh, Ayushmaan," it's like, "How was your test?" I was like, "Oh, it was great." And then she says, "Oh, I like, can you just tell me what you people learn in Hindi? I'm really excited to know." And I took the book out of my bag
Oh God.
and I started explaining her what we are learning. Okay. And one of my classmates, they saw me and they were like, "Oh, ma'am, Ayushmaan is cheating." And my teacher did not believe me when I told her that I was just explaining it to the girl.
So did the
And
girl
I had
not
to
explain the
apologize to
thing?
the teacher, okay?
The girl should have explained the thing.
She was a little, I mean, she did not say anything. All of us were scared of our teachers.
Oh,
So,
okay, yeah.
yeah, and
I
that's what
see.
happened, and that
You
traumatized me
must have been
forever.
kids at back then. Really.
Yeah, and you
Literally
know what was
kids.
the worst part?
I can't even.
The worst part
Yeah.
was when the teacher said, "Ayushmaan, I did not expect this from you." Oh, that's
That's
the
the thing.
worst.
Like,
I hate
I
it.
am a kid. I am not a man. What do you expect from a kid? Actually, some
But like, I did not even
highly
cheat.
moralistic character.
I don't know. I mean,
Exactly.
it's later in life when I learned even our adults are not perfect. But you know, back then, for a child in class, one, that was devastating.
Yeah, I do understand that actually.
And
And
that's
that
the
is
reason I
gonna be
always hesitated
devastating
to cheat
even
as
now
well.
also. If that kind of
Yeah,
thing
I mean,
happens
being
now.
and having to apologize for something you never did.
Yeah, that's another kind of burden. And I think I have seen people like that. When this kind of thing happened, they had to apologize for something they never did. They actually start believing that they did it. They actually start feeling guilty about it. That's a weird psychology.
I know. And it's coming from people you look up to, right?
Exactly.
That that basically factors in when such things happen.
So tell me about the
Anyway,
fun things of.
fun things.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, like, it's a boon and a curse, but you get a certain kind of invisibility when it comes to you being a nerd. Except for exam days, then you are very visible. But like, uh, it's when it comes to high school dramas and like and all that, like, oh,
Yeah.
you heard what that girl said to that other person and all those things. You don't really get caught into those, such things or such
You
cases.
get the
You just
privilege to
you're
stay in your own world as well.
Yeah, yeah.
I think.
Also, like being a star student, every teacher trusts you. Okay, they have this blind trust, and let me give you an example of that. I think it was some years back. We had this back checking, okay, for students
Okay.
in our school, all right. And I had brought 20 packets of Maggie for the hostelers. Okay, we are not allowed to bring outside food like that
You
for the
sound like
hostelers.
you just brought 20 packets of cocaine. The way you
It
put
was
it up.
equivalent to that.
Okay.
Okay, it was equivalent to that. And like, they don't really get to catch cocaine, so if they catch 20 packets of Maggie, that would make their day, honestly.
Oh
But
god.
uh yeah, it's a sad life, I know. But so what happened was, I was standing in line to get my bag checked, and I just leaned out of the line and I was like, "Sir, what's going on?" And he was like, "Oh, Aishman, we're just checking bags. Oh, you know what? You don't need to stand here. You can just go in." And that day,
Oh,
I just
you
I
realize
know.
that you really have a superpower. Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of a superpower, but like, in order to have for your teachers to have that much trust in you, you have to really make a reputation for yourself.
Exactly. You just have to earn it. That
You
just
have to
doesn't come.
earn it.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
And
They do come to you for for help during exam days. Don't you feel a little used?
of
It
course, of
hurts.
course, it hurts. It really hurts. Like, you only need me when you need me. That's the
Yeah, the
that's a really
entire
bad
year you
part
don't
about it.
talk to me. Yeah, the
But
entire year they
but
don't talk to
then
me,
you
and
are
then they
your
come to
own
me for.
royalty. Then you're your own royalty. You just don't. care if somebody talks or not.
Yeah, I don't help them during exams out of spite.
Yeah,
Yeah. I know it sounds like I'm just being a little harsh, but they started it.
exactly. So you showed me the path, and now I am the spawn of Satan. So yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So, Rish, this is the last question for
Okay.
this podcast, like for this episode.
Okay.
So, if you could, say something to your past self, what would it be?
Just don't give a shit to shit people.
Uh, Amen, I guess.
Amen. Yeah. And
Uh,
I
why?
think
Like,
I think
did you care about other people?
very much. Actually, I now understand that I have this thing inside me that I need to care for at least something. It can be a pet, it can be a little puppy, it can be a little plant, or it can be a person. But I needed that I have to care for something. So
So
that
you need to take care of something in order to feel, you know, like you have a purpose.
validated. Yeah.
Yeah, validated.
Hmm.
Anyway, if I could say something to my past self,
What would
uh,
that be?
probably I would say, that one drawing you want to do or the one poem you want to write, and your studies are getting in your way. Write that poem and draw that sketch first, and then you go to your studies.
Hmm.
Because I never took out time for all that, and I regret a lot about it. It's one of the only things that I regret till this day.
Why don't you just start again?
Why don't I start now?
Yeah, I mean, now is never a bad time. About that
Yeah, I mean, this
poem or that
podcast is
sketch.
one of the. No, this podcast is one of the things I've always wanted to do, and I, I mean, I'm already acting upon it, so I'll try
Okay.
not to be a hypocrite.
Okay, okay.
Alright.
That's cool. That's
Anyway,
cool.
so alright, so that marks the end of this episode. Resham, you want to say something?
No, I just hope that people didn't get too much bored.
Yeah, I mean, this is our first time, guys. So
Yeah.
anyway, uh,
See you
thank
soon.
you for listening to us again. Yes.
Thank you.